Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version, and this time what I'd like to talk about is the in-laws are important, which is what I'd like you to understand. So as title says, the title says, what is the meaning of heart and what does heart mean, which is the title of this episode. And what I'd like to say is that in-laws are important, which means the in-law is important. So what I'd like to tell you is that for example, not for example. So I think some of you have learned some foreign languages. So and recently, European listeners are the number of European listeners are increasing. So what I'm saying is that there are some listeners who live in Great Britain and Germany and Poland. Poland is not that developed. Maybe Poland is not that developed country. Some listeners are from. Well, some listeners live in Great Britain, Poland, and Germany, and recently, some. There was some Dutch people. There was some Dutch person or Dutch people. There were some Dutch people, and some listeners are from Nordic. Some listeners are Nordic people actually. And if you have learned for if you have learned foreign languages, so I don't know what is. I don't know what your mother tongue is. I don't know what your mother tongue is, but maybe to if you reach some level, or if you reach some proficiency in English language, you can understand that translation is really difficult, or interpretation is really difficult. So for example, some people say that please tell me how to say this one in English language, or this is in my case. So in your case, most listeners are native speakers of English languages. So most of the listeners are native speakers of English language. So in your case, maybe you may say how do you say this one in this language, for example. In your case, in the putting myself in the shoes of native speakers of English language. You may ask somebody, please tell me how to say this one in Chinese language, or please tell me how to say this one in French language, or how to say this one in German language. Maybe native speakers of English language may ask some questions like this. So easy words are possible because So in my so how should I say even easy words are difficult to translate or interpret. Anyway, foreign words do not correspond one by one, which means for example pencil. So if you ask how to say pencil in for example in Chinese language, that is chenbi. And for example, how do you say pencil in Japanese language? So that the answer is enpitsu. So and I don't know how to say pencil in Korean language. And and another word is notebook. How do you say notebook in Korean language? The answer is konche is a word for notebook. So also Korean people say not in Korean in their country. Anyway, not is from not of English language. So notebook is konche in Korean language. And in my case, noto is called noto. In my language is my mother tongue is Japanese language. So notebook is noto in Japanese language. And anyway. So what I'd like you to know is that if you reach some proficiency of foreign language, of studying foreign language, you can find out translation is really difficult. So what I'd like you what I'd like you to know is that so as the title says, for example, in the case of the meaning of heart, heart in Japanese language, heart have several meanings, some meanings. So if you talk about if you talk about the feelings of people, if you focus on if you call the feeling of somebody with heart, that is expressed kokoro in Japanese language. And if you talk about, so for example, if you're a physician or if you're a medical doctor dealing with human bodies or human organs, and if you call heart organ as heart, that is shinzo in Japanese language, which means by by listening to what I have just said, English heart has some meanings. At least in this episode, English heart has two meanings. So translating English heart to Japanese language, the situation does matter. So for example, if we talk about the feelings or emotions of people, for example, please think his feeling or her feeling, and it's important to think about the feelings of other people, in which case, so heart is translated into, for example, kokoro or kimochi. But if you say kimochi, that will be feelings. That will be called feeling in English language. So, but suppose we are medical doctors, and if we talk about some patient is dying, so it's over, and his life is over, her life is over, and his heart or her heart is stopping in, for example, in some seconds or in some days, for example, his heart is going to stop maybe someday. So you know it's so I'm sorry to hear that, but it's fine. But a bed is going to be emptied, and anyway, I'm sorry for saying such a thing. But what I'd like you to know is that for example, if we talk about heart of some patient, for example, if we talk about some hearts of some patient, for example, in medical situation, so we talk about, or we Japanese say shinzo in Japanese language, and shinzo is a kind of medical term, So of course we use the word shinzo in casual conversation, like my heart almost stopped. If we say that, if we say so, my heart almost stopped. So if I would say,し心臓止まりそうだった in my mother tongue. So I said 心臓 which is translated into heart in English language. So like which, what matters is the inwards of the conversation, and what matters is in the inwards of the word or the situation the word is used. For example, if we use the word heart, and what matters in translation is the situation in which the word heart is used, which is what I'd like you to know. So I don't know what mother tongue. I don't know what is your mother tongue. I don't know what is your mother tongue, but actually. So in the case of, for example, Russian language, for example, in the case of Russian language, Russian language has, for example, multi-directional verbs and unidirectional verbs. Russian language has motion, doesn't it? If you have learned Russian language, you can understand what I'm saying. So, in short, Russian language cares of the direction some verbs point out. So what I'm saying is that, for example, go. The goal I'm talking about is go and come. So if you go to school, you go to school. The which is goal I'm talking about. So there are two types of goals in Russian language. So one is hadit, and the other is iti. Hadit is a multi-directional one, and unidirectional one is iti. Anyway, what I'd like you to know is that Japanese language doesn't have such multi-directional verbs and unidirectional verbs. So translating go into Japanese language, that is iku in regular basis. Go is iku in Japanese language in regular basis. So go is chi in Chinese language in regular basis. So go is kada in Korean language in regular basis. But of course, it to reaching some level or reaching some proficiency of learning language or learning English, it's you can find difficult to you can find it is difficult to translate the meaning of go from, for example, Japanese to English or English to Japanese, whichever is fine. Go has go has many meanings, and we Japanese language Japanese go doesn't have that many meanings. So anyway, at least Japanese language and Chinese language and maybe Korean language. No, Korean language doesn't have the system of multidirectional and unidirectional. So we don't care if we say go to somewhere. We don't care we don't care whether the verb is multidirectional or unidirectional when we say let's go to somewhere or I went to somewhere. So Japanese go, Korean go, and Chinese go doesn't have do not have stuff like multidirectional or unidirectional. So but Russian language has multidirectional and unidirectional. So and the typical example is hadid and iti. So like which the translation is difficult. So what is important is the inwards of the conversations. So you have with for example foreigners, and what matters is the situation in which in which how those words are used, which is what I'd like you to know. So translate. So for example, another example is Chinese language. Tindadong, Kandadong are translating Tindadong and Kandadong, they are translated into understand. But how to understand is difficult in this case. For example, in the case of Tindadong means to understand by listening. So what matters is this, Tindadong and Kandadong mean to understand. They are verbs. But what matters is how you understand. So if you Tindadong, you understand something by listening, or audible comprehension is Tindadong, and Kandadong is to understand by watching or by reading. So in each case, if you Kandadong, you understood something by reading or by watching or by seeing. Visual comprehension is Kandadong, like which translation is difficult. So if you are thinking of translating or interpreting something from one language to another, you have to focus. It's necessary to focus on the situation or the context. What is called context, or what is called the inwards of the conversations, or inwards of the situations, or inwards of the circumstances, which is what I'd like you to know. So what I'd like you to know is that anyway, translation is difficult. So what is important is the inwards. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you.